From the high Black incarceration rate to the increase in violence in Black communities, impacting the Black family and culture, crack cocaine has negatively affected the African American community in unimaginable ways, and in this video, we'll take a deep dive into the effects of crack cocaine on the Black community. Back in the 1970s and 1980s, when more people were into using cocaine for fun, the United States got flooded with a ton of cocaine powder. So, this surplus caused the price of cocaine to plunge by a whopping 80%, and as a result, shady drug dealers faced a dilemma. Their illegal product wasn't as lucrative anymore. So, what did they do? They started cutting the cocaine using various chemicals to add more heft to their cocaine loads, and that marked the beginning of crack cocaine. These crafty dealers broke the cocaine into small pieces, calling them rocks. This new crack cocaine could now be sold in smaller amounts, making it accessible to more people and bringing in bigger profits. It was cheap to make, simple to produce, and highly profitable for those dealing it. Plus, it turned out to be the most addictive form of cocaine and other drugs at the time. Fast forward to the late 1980s, and crack cocaine started spreading like wildfire across the USA. Reports of crack use were popping up in places like Los Angeles, Miami, San Diego, Houston, and Chicago. Its use particularly spiked in the poorer neighborhoods, with crack houses becoming a common sight in slum areas, mainly inhabited by Black communities. That said, the most significant surge in crack use happened during the crack epidemic between 1984 and 1990, when the drug took over American cities, and this epidemic led to a staggering increase in the number of Americans hooked on cocaine. In 1985, the count of people regularly using cocaine shot up from 4.2 million to 5.8 million, and by 1987, crack was reportedly available in all but 4 states in the United States. The crack epidemic, hitting hard in Black communities, gained national attention, especially after the death of Len Bias, an NBA draftee, in 1986 due to a cocaine-induced heart attack. This tragedy set off a media frenzy, leading Congress to respond swiftly to the escalating drug crisis in the United States. Within weeks of Bias's death, the U.S. House of Representatives drafted the Anti-Abuse Act of 1986. Shortly after that, the Federal Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986 was passed into law, marking a significant move during the peak of the crack cocaine movement. Now, these legislative actions were a direct response to the growing concerns surrounding the crack epidemic, and the public at large supported these domestic anti-drug policies as the late 1980s witnessed a disturbing surge in homicides and violent crimes nationwide, but especially in Black neighborhoods. This alarming reality prompted a collective push for stringent measures. Notably, Black clergy and the Congressional Black Caucus, comprised of African American lawmakers, threw their weight behind these policies as their constituents were demanding solutions and resources to combat the escalating issues related to violent heroin and crack epidemics. When the crack epidemic hit its zenith in 1989 before swiftly declining in the early 1990s, it left an indelible mark on the Black community, causing extensive damage and unleashing far-reaching consequences on Black Americans, their families, and their neighborhoods. The primary impact of crack cocaine, such as overdoses, violence, and many more, was compounded by secondary consequences, particularly the Drug Abuse Act signed into law by Reagan in October 1986 to combat the epidemic. This law mandated severe federal sentences, ranging from 20 years to life imprisonment, for violating drug laws. Significantly, it imposed harsher penalties for the possession and sale of crack rocks compared to powder cocaine. These stringent federal and state penalties in the ensuing decades contributed to the rise of the prison industrial complex, disproportionately affecting people of color and shutting them out of the American dream. The racial disparities resulting from these policies are glaring. Following the implementation of harsher penalties for crack cocaine and other drugs, the Black incarceration rate in America skyrocketed from about 600 per 100,000 people in 1970 to 1,808 in 2000. This surge surpassed rates in other communities, including Latinx and white American communities. The drug laws related to crack cocaine from 1986 to 2010 played a pivotal role in this high rate of Black incarceration. Critics argue that the sentencing practices of the United States court system, particularly in cases involving crack cocaine, are not only unfair but blatantly harsh towards African Americans. Researchers have labeled these practices as racist, suggesting they are part of a broader government scheme to oppress African Americans, given their disproportionate involvement with crack cocaine. The 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act, for instance, established a 100-to-1 disparity between the amount of crack cocaine and powder cocaine, triggering federal mandatory minimum sentences. This meant that 5 grams of crack equated to a 5-year sentence, while 500 grams of powder cocaine would warrant the same sentence. In 2019, officials observed that 81% of convicted crack offenders were Black, further reinforcing the perception that sentences for crack were much harsher than those for powder cocaine, possibly due to the racial associations of the drugs. The impact of crack cocaine on the Black family is starkly evident, with each crack-related death and incarceration affecting numerous individuals. The consequences extend beyond the immediate individuals involved, reaching mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. The catastrophic ripple effect of crack addiction permeates the economic, educational, and psychological well-being of the families, significantly contributing to the challenges faced by the Black family. The damage is particularly pronounced in the case of Black women addicted to crack cocaine, given that women often serve as the heads of Black households due to being single mothers, resulting from the absence of fathers due to death, dealing, or incarceration. Crack cocaine addiction has far-reaching consequences. It promotes child neglect, unemployment, and homelessness, profoundly impacting the family structure. Notably, crack cocaine addiction among Black women is often linked to prostitution, further contributing to the spread of HIV within Black communities. Moving beyond the family, the influence of crack cocaine extends into the cultural fabric of African American society. The arrival of crack cocaine in the 1980s brought about changes in the content and culture of rap music. Numerous rap artists, including NWA, Notorious Big, Tupac Shakur, Master P, T.I., 50 Cent, Pusha T, Young Jeezy, Jay-Z, Gucci Mane, Rick Ross, and others, frequently reference crack cocaine in their lyrics. These artists discuss the act of selling the drug, growing up in crack-infested environments, and the harsh realities associated with it. The impact on hip-hop culture goes beyond music, encompassing clothing styles, videos, movies, and books that regularly allude to crack cocaine. This cultural phenomenon is significant as it influences and involves young African Americans, normalizing drug dealing, usage, and the associated violence in their minds. The prevalent dope boy attitude, centered around getting money by any means necessary, especially through crack dealing, has dominated African American youth culture, predominantly through the dominance of rap music. As a result, music, films, and other cultural expressions have played a role in perpetuating harmful stereotypes and fostering a culture around the Black community, an issue that the community still grapples with today. Moreover, the scourge of crack cocaine abuse extended its grip even to African American celebrities, leading to serious problems and profound consequences. Notable athletes like Lawrence Taylor caught buying crack in 1994 and 1998, and Len Bias, whose tragic death in 1986 resulted from complications related to cocaine use, exemplify how cocaine brought destruction and death to young athletes in the prime of their careers. Professional baseball players Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry also faced the haunting effects of crack and cocaine use, which plagued their careers during the late 1980s and 1990s. Singers Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown experienced significant career setbacks, with their reputations virtually ruined by persistent rumors of cocaine use in the late 1990s and 2000s. The problem of crack cocaine in the Black community stands as one of the most pressing challenges, hindering the progress of African American people. It's crucial to note that while crack cocaine is devastating and incredibly harmful, it is part of a continuum of challenges faced by the Black community. This history of misery includes slavery, Jim Crow segregation and discrimination, rampant heroin use, and other detriments, all serving as predecessors to the era of crack cocaine. That said, the profound impact of crack cocaine on the Black community is intertwined with long-standing challenges. It affects individuals, families, and the cultural landscape. So, understanding its historical context is pivotal for meaningful change. There you have it, and please let us know your thoughts on the impact of crack cocaine in the Black community. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and remember to hit subscribe for more content like this. Inspiration for the week. Champions keep playing until they get it right. You're your best thing. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. A champion is defined not by their wins, but by how they can recover when they fall. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. This channel gives a portion of its proceeds to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. St. Jude's give free medical care to children with serious medical conditions and provides free stay for the parents. Thanks to each and every one of you. Judy Henson, MBA.